Hey guys, I want to do a quick video on what you can do with the Bot Basics kit. So a little bit on the Bot Basics kit. The Bot Basics kit is something we put together for the person who wants to get their feet wet with Arduino. So we took out things like breadboarding and soldering, and then we made coding super easy as well, just to get some basic things going. And then after that, you can go on to some of the more advanced kits. So that's some background on that. So the first part I want to talk about is this part. This is the Arduino, and what we're gonna do is go over some of the parts on here. Okay. So the first thing I want to notice is this part right here. This is where we're gonna connect the USB cable, and you should have one of these inside your kit. All right. One side goes into here, and the other side goes into your computer. All right. The other thing that we want to point out are the headers. All right. So you're going to notice that you have one, two, three, four of these black headers with these small square holes in them. All right. So what we're going to be doing is sticking pins into these holes here in order to connect whatever we want into the Arduino Uno. All right. And if you look closely, next to each of the black holes, you're going to see white writing. So looking here, it says 0, 1, 2, and so forth. Those are the signals. So when we say, let's connect something to pin number 0, you look for 0 right there. And then you find the black square next to the 0 and you stick it into there. All right. Okay, so now that we know about that, let's look at something else. I'm going to put that to the side here and then kind of move my box over as well. The first thing I want to bring your attention to are these LEDs. Okay, these LEDs are little lights, and inside we have a resistor in there. That's this little kind of sausage thing that you might see in there. The role of the resistor is to slow down the flow of electricity so that the light bulb or the LED doesn't get damaged or explode. All right. Again, we want to keep it simple. Typically, what you'd have to do is take a resistor that's already in there. You'd have to put it on a breadboard and then connect it to the LED and then connect it to the Arduino. That's kind of a lot to do the first time around, so we wanted to make it so that everything's already included in there. It's all connected in there for you. So then the other thing you want to notice is if you follow these wires, there's a black wire and a red wire, and both of them go to these pins here. Now these pins can then connect to the pin headers. So how do you connect it? How do you turn the light on? Well, let's talk about that a little bit. All right, so if you take a look at the whiteboard, I'm going to explain the LED here. All right. So the symbol for an LED is actually a triangle with a line, and the LED has a plus and a minus. Okay. Now the other thing that we need to consider is that the LED also has a resistor. Now we don't have to worry about connecting that because the resistor is already built into our whole structure here. Okay. Now the resistor is connected to the plus, and that is the red color wire. Okay, so I'm going to use my red color wire and draw red. And then the other side, the minus, is connected to the black color wire, as we can see in the camera. All right, so I'm going to use black and draw a black color wire. All right, so the first thing we want to do is actually just turn on this LED. The way that we're going to do it is we're going to connect the plus to power on the Uno. Okay, so let me do this. Let me just draw our Uno here. And on the Uno, we have all these pins. I remember the pin header thing, right? And there is a black square that is connected to 5V, which is 5 volts. And then there's also a GND, which is the same as 0 volts, which is the same as ground. Okay, so if we make the connections like this, the red to 5V and the ground, or the minus to ground, what we're doing is we're giving 5 volts of power to the LED, and once we do that, it should turn on. So let's go ahead and do that. And let me switch my view here. Okay. Now, how are we going to do this? Because if we take a look, we have these 2 spikes here, but they're all stuck together, right? So what you're going to need to do is you're going to have to grab from your kit 2 of these socket to pin connectors, okay? And you can just pull them apart like that, okay? And it doesn't matter what the color is. I'm just going to use the blue one. I'm going to connect the blue one to red, okay? And if I look at my diagram below there, the red needs to go to 5V. So what I do is find 5V. There's actually, we got a few of them. There's one down here. Let's stick that in. Okay, cool. And then I'm going to take, I have a purple here for my second one, and connect it to the black wire here. And then I want to connect this to the black square for GND. And there are actually 3 GNDs, so I'm going to just pick one of them. There's one up here. There we go. All right, so it's connected in, but it's not on. The reason why is because we did not connect our USB cable yet. So what's going to happen, I'm going to put one side into here, okay, and make sure it clicks in there. And the other side, I'm going to connect to my computer. And then once I do that, the Arduino is actually going to get 5 volts of power from your computer, which then it can then transfer through these wires to the light, and then it should turn on. So let's go ahead and try to do that. Okay, I'm going to turn my Arduino just so the cable can reach, okay? And then once I do this, you should hear that little sound that when you plug in a USB device. Okay. Let's go ahead and do that. 1 second. All right, and going in. And it turns on, and we see that we have, you can see it shining. We have a yellow color. Okay, great. So we turned on our light. Now the first task is to sort our LEDs, okay? So we actually have 3 different LEDs, and so we're gonna do the same connection that we've done here for all 3 of them, and we want to sort them and keep track of them, okay? So I have, this one's yellow, so what I can do is go ahead and just take this area and just unplug it, okay? I'm gonna put this right here. I know that's my yellow, okay? And then I'm gonna take another one. There's 3 of them total, and then let's stick it in. Let's make sure I get my black and red correct. Okay. And this one is not on, probably because I flipped it the wrong way. Okay. Let me change my view so we can see better here. Okay. Yeah, I think I put it in the wrong way, so let me do this way. And that's another thing to know. If you put it the wrong way, it won't get damaged or anything. It just won't turn on. Okay. Okay, so now I put it the right way. This one is green. Okay, so my second one is green. Cool. And let's do my last one. Okay, here's my last light. Let's get it right this time. Black should be at GND. GND is this one right here. And then the other one is 5V. Okay. I'll stick it in. Very cool. And red. Okay, I got red. This one's yellow. And this one's green. All right, so you might have guessed what we're going to be doing is we're going to try to create a traffic light with red, green, and a yellow light. All right. So now that we know that we have the three colors and we know which one is which, let's go ahead and go next level and try to create a schematic for how we're going to wire our lights. Okay. So I'm going to go back to our chart here. Okay. So we're going to create a new one. Let me just erase everything here. All right. So we're going to have three lights. First, I'm going to draw the Uno. We're going to use 3 pins. We're going to do 5, 4, and 3. Okay. We're going to have a GND connection. Okay. And then the lights are going to be connected like this. We have the resistor and a light connects to GND. Resistor and a light. The minus also connects to GND. And the third one, same thing. Okay. Great. And so what we're going to do here, I want you to notice that the pluses of the LEDs are no longer connected to 5V. They're connected to a pin number, either 3, 4, or 5. And so what's going to happen is we're going to be able to program the Uno to give power to 3, 4, or 5, or all of them. And that's going to turn our light off and on. So what's cool about it is that now that we connect it to the numbers 3, 4, and 5, you can say give it power or not give it power, and then we can automatically turn the light off and on that way. And that's the beauty of code in Arduino. All right, now let's fill in the colors. I'm gonna say 5. Let's put the red light on 5. 4, let's use the yellow light. Okay, and then 3, let's use the green light here. Okay, so now that I have that, the next thing I need to do is go ahead and wire it up. Okay, here we go. So this one was the last one I did. This is the red light right here. So what I'm gonna do is make sure I have red. All right, so the red is connected to the blue wire here. And so that's the plus side with the resistor. So this should go into 5. I'm looking at my diagram in the bottom right. So this should go into 5. So I find 5 and I stick it in there. I think that's right. Good. And then the other side goes to GND. So then I find GND and I stick it in there. Okay. Great. All right, now the next one is this one right here is my yellow. So I'm gonna get 2 more of these special socket to pin connectors, okay? Because we're gonna need a total of 6 of them this time. All right, I'm gonna do my red. I'm gonna connect the green one to the red, which needs to go to 4. Stick it into 4. Okay, and then the other one, yellow, I'm going to go to the black, which also needs to go to GND. Remember, there's a lot of GNDs, so really any of them is fine. There's a GND here, stick it into there. Cool. Okay, and then lastly, I have my green light. Okay, and same thing. Get 2 of these. Okay, I'm going to take one of them, what I got here, purple, to my red. That's going to go to 3. There we go, 3. and then the GND is going to go like this, or the black wire I mean, and then this also goes to my last GND pin. Cool. Okay. It's looking pretty good. So I want you to notice something. When we do this, all the LEDs are not turned on, right? And the reason why is because we haven't coded it, we haven't commanded it to turn on yet. So right now they're all off. So the next part is we're going to go ahead and code them to turn on. Actually, before that, let's go ahead and use some our creative juices and create a little traffic light using these three lights. So the way we're going to do that is we're going to just use a piece of cardboard. This is some cardstock, but you could also use like an Amazon box or something. And again, this is something that we believe in here at Barnabas, is when we're doing stuff like coding and electronics, robotics, we want to have some fun. We want to add some art to it, some creativity. So let's just use what we have here. I have a pencil here, and let's make a traffic light. So I'm going to draw 3 dots where my lights are going to go through. Right? Okay, and 3. That's pretty good. And then what I'm going to do is just kind of poke it. Hopefully this works. Oh, there we go. Okay. Gotta be a little careful. Don't want to stab yourself, but you know, sometimes you live a little bit dangerously. All right. And then let's put them in. And at this point, I've messed up my lights. I don't know which is which, but I can look at my connections. So going back to my schematic here, or my drawing diagram, my wiring diagram, I know number 5 is red, and red should be up top. Okay, so then I can just look here. Okay, well, which one's into 5? That is this guy. It's into 5, which is connected to this light here. Okay, so this should be red, so I'm just gonna stick it through. Cool. All right, and then I keep looking, right? Yellow is 4, so I look at 4. This one right here. Okay. This one's yellow. Cool. Okay. And then this last one, process of elimination, needs to be green, right? So then I'll put this here. Okay. Great. That looks pretty good to me. And then kind of just for fun, you know, I can do that. Maybe I want to use a darker marker or something. Kind of give it some more life here. Maybe go a little 3D, right? Feel like sometimes these have like shades over them, right? So we could cover from the light. So not perfect, but just something, give it a little bit more life here. Maybe I'll draw like a little stand there. Okay. Cool. You know, actually, while I'm at it, you know, I'm thinking, you know, why don't I give it a little snip and make sure I don't cut the wires, right? That'd be bad. Okay. Cool. Had a light fell out. That's okay. I can fix that in a second. All right. I like it. It's looking pretty good. Let's put this back. Okay. Let's see if I can get this to stand. Just trying to get it to settle in there a little bit. Okay. All right. So now let's check out how the coding part works. All right. So the first thing we need to do is go to this website, code.barnabasrobotics.com, and then you're going to see this screen here. Now, there are different boards you could choose. It could be Noggin or Uno. For the Bot Basics kit, we want to go with the Uno. The way you remember, it says Uno on the board that you have there, okay? So we go Uno. And then what we're going to do is on this side, we're going to go to Control and get this loop. So the loop is the part of the code that contains all the commands, all right? And so whatever commands you put in there, it's going to execute them. It's going to do them. And then once it finishes from top to bottom, it's just going to keep looping forever and ever, all right? So every program that we do needs one loop and one loop only, okay? So you can't have multiple loops. Like if you do this, it's not going to work, okay? So only one loop, and it does the commands from top to bottom. Now, right now, there are no commands in there. I'm going to go ahead and click upload just to make sure it works. Okay, so now you clicked upload, and then this comes up. When you do that, it automatically looks to see, did you connect anything using the USB cord to your computer? So if you didn't connect the Uno to your computer, it's not going to see anything. But since I did, it says, okay, it sees this item. So you got to click on it and then click connect. Now, one thing to note here, if you're using a Mac or a Chromebook, the process is the same, but the name of the device is going to be different. So don't freak out, okay? It'll have a different name, but go ahead and click on it and then click connect, and then just wait, and then you're going to see this green check mark, meaning that it worked. So I just sent a blank program just to make sure I'm able to code and everything. So that looks good. All right. So let's go ahead and turn on the red light. So what you do is go to lights and then take it, drag it, and then snap it in like a puzzle piece. And if you look back to our schematic, the red light is on 5. Okay. So what I do is change the pin number to 5. Okay. And let's upload, and hopefully the red light turns on. Let's see. Aha, the red light is on. Awesome. Okay, now we're going to test them one at a time. If we go back to our chart here, 4 is yellow, 3 is green. So let's try those as well, okay? 4. Yellow, we see the yellow light turned on. Cool. And then 3. Should be green. Cool. It works. Okay. All right, and then if I take it out like that, it's going to do nothing again because there's nothing inside the loop, and it should just be all off. Okay, very good. Now, let's make the yellow light blink, because sometimes we have the yellow light blinking, meaning it means like yield, I think is the word. So let's do, it's pin 4, I believe. So what we want to do to make it blink, it has to turn on and then off, on, off, and it should blink, right? So let's take another one, put it in, yellow light, which is 4, and then turn it off, okay? And then we can upload and see what happens. Okay, so what we see here is that the yellow light is on, but it's not blinking. So this is where we have to think about how the code works. So what's actually happening is that the yellow light is turning off and on, but it's happening so fast because whenever you do this, like I said earlier, is that whenever inside a loop, the commands they get processed one at a time. So first this one, then this one, and then it loops back this one, and then this one. So it is actually turning on and off, but it happens really, really fast. So computers process commands super fast, a lot faster than we do in our brains. And so it's happening so fast, we have to actually slow it down so that we can actually see the light. So to do that, you go to Control and get a wait. So now we're going to put it in between. It says, okay, I want to turn on and I want to leave it on for 1 second. Okay. And then we also do one down here, and then we turn it off and we want to leave it off for 1 second. So it's like on and leave it on for 1 second, off, leave it off for 1 second. Now we should be able to see it. So we're telling the computer to slow down a little bit so that we can see. And there we go. You have a yellow light. Now you could play with this, and let's say if we wanted to make it blink faster, all you have to do is reduce the delay. So this says 1 second. You can say half a second. You can say 0.5 and 0.5, right? And upload. Yep, you see? Now it's blinking at half a second interval. Okay, so I'm going to leave it at that. So you can try to make different sequences with the lights, make them blink and so forth, turn on and off. Now, the last thing I want to do here with the lights, what if we want to make it go in a sequence of an actual light? So the way it works is that it's usually red first, and then it goes green, and then yellow, and then back. That might not exactly be right, but I think it's pretty close. So we'll just go with that for now. So red first. So I'll move this stuff to the side. Move it to the side because we want to kind of start over. So the red light was on 5, right? So I'm going to say turn the red light on. And I'm going to say it's going to be red for, I don't know, 5 seconds, right? Because, you know, it's going to be red for a while. And then after that, I want to turn off the red lights, right? Because you don't want the red and the green on the same time. That's going to be really confusing. So it's going to turn off the red light. And while you do that, right after that, I want to turn on the green light, which is, which pin? Green light is 3. Okay. Okay. And I'm going to leave it on for 5 seconds as well. And then after that, I want to turn off the green light and then turn on the yellow. I'm going to scroll down here. My code's getting kind of long here. Then yellow, which is 4, I believe. And then let's say I want to do yellow for how long? How long do we want the yellow to be on for? Not 5 seconds, maybe 2 seconds. And then what's going to happen is after it does this, it's going to go back to the beginning and turn the red back on. So I think that might work. Let's see. Now, oh yes, I also have to turn off the yellow light, right? So after the 2 seconds, let's turn off the yellow light. Off the yellow light. Okay. And just a little trick here. You see how my code is getting kind of long? You can't see it all. You can right click here and do inline inputs. And what it does is it kind of flattens it a little bit. I'm going to do that to all these, and maybe I can see the entire code. Inline input. Cool. So that way we can see everything. All right, I just kind of did that off the top of my head. Let's just see what it does. Okay, I'm going to upload. Red. Green. Should go yellow. Oh, I have an issue. The yellow and red are on at the same time. I have an issue. I messed up somewhere. The yellow doesn't turn off. Oh, yes. Pin 1 is connected to nothing. That's not right. So this is supposed to turn the yellow one off. So yellow is 4, right? So that should fix it. Okay, red, green, yellow, and then back to red. Okay, great. So it's working like a traffic light. Again, I don't know if I got that sequence exactly right, but that's something that you can look up, right? Google how a traffic light sequence actually works and what the actual timing is, and then you can do that. So this is a great exercise if you're working with students, right? They learn about traffic lights and then also get to learn about Arduino, wire everything, get a little creative and create this. Maybe you could actually make it stand up, get a popsicle stick, make a little city, right? Okay, so that's an example of what you can do with the bot basics. Super easy, right? No breadboarding, no soldering, and the coding is straight up. You don't need to install any software. Just go to this website, code.barnabasrobotics.com, and you just do that. All right, the next thing I want to do is inside your kit, you're gonna see this. Okay, this is a servo motor, and what you're able to do is actually make something move. This is in fact introduction to robotics, right? So movement is going to be important and necessary. All right, so let me change my view here. All right, so first thing I want you to notice with the servo motor is that there's a cable here. All right, and we have brown, red, and orange, and we also have these they're called servo motor couplings. All right, the couplings fit onto this white part here, the part that rotates. It's a servo motor shaft. All right, so the first thing, let's go ahead and take this and let's get one of the couplings. It doesn't really matter which one. I'm going to take this one. They have screws in here too, so if you have a screwdriver, you can fasten it on. You'll see in a second, but we're not going to worry about that right now. But something that you can do to kind of make it more robust. So I'm going to move this to the side. So you just take one and just like snap it in like that. All right. Now, once you do this, you can actually test the range of motion. What I mean by that is how far can this motor move? Now, I'll tell you right away, it can only move 180 degrees, which is half a circle. Okay. And so if you move it, you'll see it, you'll feel it stop. And so the important thing here, you gotta have self-control. Don't force it. Once you feel it stop, don't keep forcing it, because what happens is you can actually break the gears in there and your motor is gonna break, okay? But if you go like that, you can feel, see it only, and it stops there again. So you have about 180 degrees of range of motion, okay? So that's gonna come into play when we do the coding, because you can only, it's gonna ask for an angle, and it's only going to accept 0 to 180 because it can only move 0 to 180. Okay. All right. So how are we going to connect this? Let's go back to our whiteboard and figure that out.